going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. First and foremost, before this video gets started, I just got to give you guys a big shout out. I got to give you guys a big thank you for 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. When I first started this YouTube channel, not that I didn't know at some point I would get to 100K, but this is obviously the first milestone in my YouTube channel. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. Now, with that being said, today's video, what we're basically going to be breaking down is this amazing trade that I had on the NASDAQ, on NASDAQ longs, where I made a total profit of around $29,000. I'm going to be breaking that position down for you guys in today's video. So to give you guys a really quick update, I know I haven't been too active on my YouTube channel recently, but that is just because my daughter was actually born and I do have a newborn, so I decided to take a little bit of time off from like heavy content creation and just focus on my family and really helping my wife through the process, especially in these first 4 weeks. Has been very sleepless for us in these last few weeks, but it's a learning curve just like anything else, and honestly being a dad is the best feeling ever, and it just gives me more purpose. So I just want to say I'm going to be back. I'm going to be actively posting content again, and I'm super excited. I just invested a ton of money into a quality camera setup along with my microphone, so hopefully the audio and the video quality for my content has significantly improved since the last videos. But without further ado, I wanted to quickly update you guys before this video actually gets started with Leveled Up. So at Leveled Up Society, we actually finally launched our one-step challenge. So now with our one-step challenge, you're no longer required to pass a verification phase or level 2 phase before you get funded. Essentially, the one-step challenge is very self-explanatory. There's only one phase that you have to pass before you actually move on to the funding. Also, with the one-step challenge, I don't know if I talked about this in the last video, but we completely removed our trading days, meaning that there is no time limit for you to pass or to meet the challenge verification requirements. So you don't have 30 days anymore to pass a challenge. You don't have 60 days anymore to pass the second verification phase. You now have an unlimited amount of time, so you could trade stress-free. If you guys want to check out the one-step challenge or our two-step challenges, which is essentially the normal evaluation that we've always done, you guys could go to the website leveledupsociety.com to find out more information on the one-step challenge, or just look into our accounts and what our funded company is all about. And remember, we did remove the trading days, so you no longer have to worry about meeting your profit target goals within a certain amount of days before your account gets reset. If you guys want to find out more information about our one-step challenge, I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys to check out. And without any further ado, let's get right into the video. All right, everybody. So as you guys can see here, we are on the MetaTrader 5 platform, which is currently my trading platform. As you guys can see, this is not a screenshot. Without further ado, I know there might be a lot of skepticism out there. So you guys can see here is the profit on the trade, and then we have a $5,000 withdrawal. You cannot withdraw money from a simulated account or a Monopoly Money account. As you guys could see, I have a withdrawal right here for $5,000. And to be honest, I only withdrew the money just so it's a live account. It's not like I needed those $5,000. I typically like to withdraw at least once a week, but every time I do a YouTube video like this, I like to at least withdraw a little bit of something just to show you guys that this is a live account. If you guys look over here to the left as well, where you see the Hero FX platform, you guys could see each one of these badges are golden, which means that they are a live account. So I have a Hero Raw Spreads account, and because I have a Raw Spreads account, the commissions may be a little bit higher, but more importantly, I get executed at the prices I want to get executed at, which is super important with the type of trading that I'm actually doing. So without further ado, as you guys can see, here's a profit that I took on this trade, which I feel like this was a pretty decent trade. I don't think it was like a great trade in terms of my risk management, or not in terms of my risk management, but in terms of my trade management, just simply because I allowed price to pull back too much. I didn't secure where initially I wanted to secure. But at the same time, if I were to give this trade a rating, I would probably rate it 4 out of 5 stars, because I could have potentially allowed myself to make more money on this position, or at least secured more money on this specific position. So talking about the position, my entries were roughly at 13,436, which is going to be this previous area right here. And I'm actually going to head over to TradingView. I just wanted to show you guys my MetaTrader 5 so you guys can see the profit and the withdrawal there. So this is basically what my trade setup actually looked like here. This is going to be the 1 minute time frame. But I'm going to break this down for you guys from a 4 hour time frame perspective all the way down to a 1 minute time frame. So this 13,400 area is going to be a previous area of resistance where we had actually price start to trade back above, and in the early market hours price actually broke through this area and continued to make new highs. So with the volume that I saw initially, I was thinking about taking shorts, because if we break this down to a lower time frame, we can actually see price came all the way up and actually started to reject this area, which is an area of interest for me, right? And then today, price action actually broke through this area and made new highs at about 13,467, but ended up closing right on the resistance range, which is why I kind of wanted to go short at first, but then I just didn't end up taking the position because I was focused on SPX, which I didn't even end up taking a position on the SPX regardless. So when it came down to me taking this position, I had already established that this 13,436 area is going to be our previous area of resistance. And obviously with price action coming back down after making new highs at 13,468, coming all the way down to 13,400, I knew the only other way I wanted to actually buy NASDAQ was if NASDAQ could give me a break and a retest setup of this 13,437 range or 36 range of resistance, which is why it's so crucial to plan your trades and trade your plan every single day. You guys should already be knowing what setups you're going to be looking to take when it comes to your trading on a day-to-day basis. When you do your pre-market analysis, it's like, okay, with the data and the information that I have with price action currently, I know that if I wait for this, then this is how I will execute on this setup. And in this situation, after I got this new information from price action, I already know, okay, if price action can break back above this 13,436 area of resistance, then I'm going to wait for my retest to look to go long on a possible break and retest setup. Stop loss will be going under the previous resistance range, under the rejections, and the targets will be my new resistance range or the highs of the day, along with a possible future resistance range. And that's exactly what we got here. This 15-minute candlestick ended up closing back above resistance, and again, no entry then and there. What did I do? I waited for price action to pull back. Price action pulled back to my retest area. Now, I kind of jumped the gun here on a little bit of an aggressive entry because right once price action closed above 1436, 314 or 13,436, then that's actually when I went with an aggressive position, and I actually took my first long position at this 5-minute candlestick closure because price action ended up closing inside of the range and did not close under the range. If price action closed under the range, that is a sign for me to not take that specific position. So with price action actually closing inside of the resistance range and not closing under, that gave me the green light to, okay, now I can start looking for entries. But I decided to take an aggressive position here, which ultimately, I mean, it was a pretty good position. Now, in terms of risk to reward, I was targeting essentially the highs up here at 13,467, which this is not where I got out. I continue to actually hold my position. This is why I'll grade this setup to be like a 4-star setup, right? So after price action, I took my first position. I decided to place my stop loss a little bit under these lows that we have here. Why? Because if we go to the 1-minute time frame, essentially that is going to be like our higher low before price actually pushed up, which is why my stop loss is under these lows here. So we had price actually come down, come up, form a high, a higher low, and then price came up and formed this higher high. So I knew for a fact if price action were to take out these lows, then I don't want to be in the position, because now price action is starting to form lower lows on our lower time frame, which increases the probability for price action to continue to drop. At that point in time, I no longer want to be my buy position. So after price action, and I took my entry, I set my stop loss here. That is going to be my first stop loss. Now price gave me a rejection, came down and ended up rejecting this same exact low on where I took basically where my first entry was over here. Basically the entry was right here, 36, right? So after price action ended up coming down into that entry area, again, the whole foundation of this trade is that price action needs to maintain above this zone. As long as price action can maintain above the zone, the buys are valid. And as long as price doesn't break these lows, then my stop loss is valid, right? So after price action on this 1-minute time frame came down and gave me this first rejection here on the 1-minute time frame, I continued to wait. After price action gave me another rejection with a small loss of momentum to the downside. Again, let me kind of just show you what this looks like over here with a small loss of momentum to the downside and price action is still in the zone, that is actually when I decided to basically take my second entry pretty much along this area over here. Now, price action ended up coming all the way down, came about halfway to my stop loss. And as you guys can see, with my planned risk to reward ratio, I had about a 3.5% planned risk. I was risking roughly around like $7,500, $8,000-ish dollars on this specific trade in between both of my positions, because my entries are basically very, very similar. Now, I ended up taking that position as price action was actually coming down after I saw the loss of bearish momentum, because I was able to minimize my risk while increasing my reward ratio. If I would have taken a position after this engulfing candlestick, which ultimately the confirmation would have been a little bit better, I would have had just slightly a poorer risk to reward ratio, not allowing me to take the position, just simply because, again, I have a 1.7 risk to reward ratio planned versus a possible 3.5 risk to reward ratio that was planned. Obviously, I'm not going to take the 1.7 planned risk to reward ratio. I'm going to take the 3.5 planned risk to reward ratio. Now, I was trading this area a little bit more aggressively, just simply because we already had a big move to the downside and this super strong 15-minute close. And I anticipated basically like, hey, you know, within this retest candlestick, this 15-minute candlestick, we could just see a possible wick retest and then price just continue to trade higher. That's essentially what we got here. Price came all the way down. Didn't hit my stop loss. Both of my stop losses were here. I was about halfway to my stop loss, and then price ended up taking off. Now, why I would rate this to be a possible 4-star setup instead of a 5-star setup, it was just simply because of my trade management. The setup itself was perfect, but it was my trade management that completely threw me off. So right once price ended up coming to my targets, I just continued to hold my position. I actually ended up trailing my stop loss to under this low right here. Price came all the way up, and I was up probably at the highest from what I saw was like $50,000, $51,000. And then I decided to continue to hold the position because 13,500 is going to be my next key level, where I saw, hey, price action is already at 13,486. We could easily see price action come back up into 13,500. Now, price ended up pulling all the way back to this area, and I thought to myself, well, you know what? If price action can maintain above these highs, then I'll continue to actually hold the position. And what I'll do is, if price action does reject this area here, I'll just trail my stop loss to this low. And price action luckily did come up. And this is where I could have potentially closed again. I saw $50,000 but got greedy and thought, you know what? I'm up 50K right now. This could possibly be close to a 6-figure day if I just continue to hold my position. And that's where that greed got to me. Instead of trailing my stop loss to each one of these higher lows here on the 1-minute time frame, or at least securing $25,000 on a single position and leaving a runner, I ended up just leaving both positions open, and price came all the way back down. And when this bearish candlestick closed under the zone is when I secured my positions, and I ended up securing at about I got out realistically at my targets, but I ended up securing about a $28,000 gain on the day, which is still fantastic. I mean, $28,000, especially within the span of 30 minutes, an hour at most, is very rewarding. So again, guys, with that being said, it was a pretty solid trade. Other than that, there's not really much to discuss. Planned risk to reward. I mean, again, like when you trade your plan, everything should flow as smoothly as possible. And if it doesn't, and let's just say you get stopped out, although you did get stopped out and you did take a losing position, as long as you stuck to your trading plan, overall you did good on the day, because in the long term, that'll only allow you to build better habits, especially better trading habits. So other than that, everybody, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys are interested, I am hosting a free crash course today that I'm going to be posting. I mean, it depends when this YouTube video goes up. But if you guys want the recording to the free indices crash course, where I basically teach you guys how I trade SPX, NASDAQ, US 30 completely for free, make sure you guys head over to the description, where I will be posting the link so you guys can actually register and download the crash course. Other than that, everybody, obviously, if you guys are interested in trading on the same broker that I'm trading on, make sure you guys open a Raw Spreads account, because that is going to be the account that will give you the best pricing, the bid between the bid and the ask, and obviously give you the best spreads possible. Other than that, everybody, I will talk to you guys in the future videos. Take care, guys.